Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and this is gonna be another wrestling review. NXT officially, as of last Tuesday, October 1st, has a new home on the CW. And I figured, why not invite them in and review how their first outing, their maiden voyage was on the CW network. So we're gonna look at the NXT debut on the CW network. Of course, as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time, and I must say, I had a pretty good time. Not a bad first episode when it comes to NXT on the CW. Now, you may be asking, Nigel, why are you doing the debut on the CW? Well, I figured because as a new network and because some championships were on the line and they were definitely hyping it up, I figured why not see the outing on the new network, and not totally unfamiliar territory. If you remember, last year I reviewed AEW, the debut episode of AEW Collision, and I figured I'd return the favor with NXT. But your rebuttal to that may be, Nigel, if that's the case, why didn't you review the SmackDown debut on the USA Network? And you know what? That is a very good question, I think it boils down to two reasons. The first being, I forgot. The thought of making a review of it didn't even cross my mind. And it was funny because as I was watching, getting prepared for the debut, and mentally preparing to review it as well for the channel, I was like, oh man, I could have did it for SmackDown, especially with the title on the line and a lot of stuff that went down in SmackDown's premiere on the USA. But then I thought about how to end SmackDown on NXT moving to CW is totally new territory. SmackDown's been on the USA Network before, SmackDown's actually been on a few different networks. They've been on USA, they've been on Fox now. They were kind of throwing back to a lot of the moments that happened with SmackDown on Fox. It was a interesting time, but SmackDown, they've been on USA, they've been on Fox, they've been on Sci-Fi. They were on the CW for a time. Hell, I remember when they were on My TV Buffalo. Now there's a throwback. And if you who remember what My TV Buffalo is, don't worry, that knee pain you're feeling is normal. In fact, let me see if that's still a network or My TV Buffalo. But nevertheless, SmackDown has been on. Oh, yep, it is still going. So never mind. Never mind. So the knee pain is unexplained. Nevertheless, SmackDown's been on quite a few networks, and so I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna bother. But with NXT being totally new to CW, I figured I'd talk about it. So without further ado, let's talk about it. The show opens up with Shawn Michaels, who's welcoming everybody, and a couple notes when it comes to that. For starters, the crowd actually sings along to Shawn Michaels' theme, which I'm surprised it took them that long to sing along to Shawn Michaels' theme song. The other thing is that Shawn Michaels comes in, kind of welcomes the crowd out, and unveils. First of all, we see the new NXT logo. Now, the new NXT logo, a lot of people are kind of mixed about it. It is a bit simple. It is essentially black and white / silver. That being said, we've said it plenty of times on the channel, and it bears repeating. Sometimes less is more, and having this new logo to reflect on this new era and the fact that it doesn't quite look, it looks, I don't necessarily want to say grittier, but a bit. It looks a bit new, and it is a bit of a fresh coat of paint. Even if it does look a little plain Jane, it's still a refreshing, a new coat of paint. This isn't the silver and gold era anymore. This isn't the NXT black and yellow or black and gold era anymore. It's not even the 2.0 era anymore. This is the new black and silver era. This is a new era. So I think it works in that regard. But Shawn Michaels then unveils new NXT championships, the new NXT championship and the new NXT women's championship. And actually, hey, you know what? I'm gonna call a bit of an audible, and I'm gonna actually show them on screen. All right, so we have the new NXT championship design. This is the men's one, and then we can head over to the women's one. And here's different images for it. And the women's one is essentially the same. It has the white strap, but I will still show it. These ones do look pretty cool. I know these ones are kind of getting some mixed reception. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. A lot of people say it looks a lot like a UFC championship, and yeah, it definitely does. You can definitely see kind of the UFC influence here. It does make sense though, because now NXT and UFC are essentially roommates. Hates being under the being under the Endeavor banner, but it does look pretty cool. I like the globe in the back. It almost does look. Now that I'm looking at it in this light, and the reason I'm showing it on W Shop is because they have the cleanest images for it. And man, they were put up. They were put up like the same day they were announced. So good on you, WWE. But yeah, it does look really, really solid. Like the globe, it does kind of remind me of the North American Championship a little bit hit, but I like how the globe plays with it, and having the gold and the silver and the black, like a bit simple colors, but it's not overly in your face, and even though the colors on the like the 2.0 era, but else a lot of people didn't really like those, even though I did personally, and they are down there and they're on sale right now. So while this is recording, it ends in 2 hours, so go get your championship belt, even though this video is going up long after the sale is over. But yeah, it does look really nice. And to show you the women's one on as well with the white strap. So yeah, some really good looking championships. But while you are here on WWE Shop, where is he? Let's go to view all. So the championships do look really good and really clean. Sometimes less is more, and having a bit more of a simplistic kind of look to it, not doing anything too much or too flashy, I think works out well. But while you're here on W Shop, go ahead and pick you up some Dominic Mysterio toilet paper. How on earth did this get made? Like, hey, having Dominic Mysterio on toilet paper it's very disrespectful. It plays into the gimmick because Dominic is someone that we love to hate, but having Dominic on toilet paper is crazy. It's also kind of gross, and it is a very weird product. Like, hey, having Dominic on toilet paper is just very, very weird. I'll pick up two. Alright, so anyway, hey, Shawn Michaels shows that off, but then is interrupted by Triple H, and they kind of welcome the NXT audience together, or so that's how it starts off there. But then we move into our first match as the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez, defends against Julia, the Beautiful Madness. So, this is a match that had been highly anticipated by a lot of people, and really this match and the main event, both of them are championship matches, both the only two championship matches on the night, and as you could tell kind of from my spiel there that I got into with the championships, as both titles obviously were on the line, but we'll get to the NXT championship match later on. I think it was smart having them waiting until the premiere or on the CW. You could put these on pay-per-view, then I'm sure it'd be fine, but why not start off with a hang on this brand new network and everything. But this match was really, really solid. This is something that Roxanne Perez had kind of been prepping for, or having her work kind of more of like a strong style type match style. I think was a smart move in preparation for her facing Julia. This is a match a lot of people have been looking forward to, and for the most part, it For the most part, it didn't disappoint. Both women definitely brought it and looked really solid against each other. But in the end, unfortunately, Julia was cost the match by someone in a hoodie. Who was it who cost Julia the match and kind of distracted it, or actually, I should say, Roxanne had the ref distracted by grabbing the championship belt. She was going to invoke a disqualification, but then the mysterious hooded figure attacked Julia, and that allowed Roxanne Perez to hit Pop Rocks in order to retain the championship. Who was under the hood? Was it Jimmy Uso? Was it Riku? Was it Ansem the Wise? No, it was a returning Cora Jade. So it seems that Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez might be getting back together, might be reestablishing their team. They were a tag team at one point, and afterwards, Cora Jade kind of alluded to a potential alliance. This is later on in the show. Kind of alluded to having a potential alliance with Roxanne Perez. So it is interesting to see where this will go. It was interesting. I guess they don't want to necessarily put the title on Julia just yet, especially now that Stephanie McCare is going to be in the mix. With Stephanie McCare in the mix and something else we're going to see later on in the show, the NXT Women's Division is definitely going to be getting very, very interesting. But nevertheless, Roxanne does pick up the win here. Still had a pretty solid match. Not too many people were mad at it. A lot of people were happy to see Cora Jade back. She had been out with an injury for a while. I believe about 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. Or it might have been a little bit less than that. So Roxanne Perez picked up the win and a really solid match. But next up was the street fight. It was the street fight, I should say. Street fight. Honestly, street fight. They should say for Halloween Havoc. Have somebody in a street fight match. That'd be pretty cool. But anyway, in a street fight, her best friends, former brothers, former tag team partners turned bitter enemies. As Zachary Wentz takes on Wesley, a rematch from what happened at No Mercy. And this match was a whole lot of fun. This match was crazy. Both guys absolutely brought it. Some of the highlights, definitely seek out this match because no amount of words will really do it justice. Definitely seek out this match. Some of the highlights include a whole swanton from Zachary Wentz, while Wesley was trapped in the trash can, and then even in the beginning when Zachary was gonna dive after Wesley, but Wesley kind of moved out of the way, or it might have been the other way around. I forgot who exactly dived after who or dove after who, but just a fun match. Had some good high flying, some good kind of extreme moments, but ultimately Wesley putting away Zachary Wentz, and you do get kind of that big fight feel and the emotional fight between these two very, very good friends. No Trey Miguel this time around to save Zachary Wentz like he did at No Mercy because Wesley took him out in the parking lot. But some weeks ago, I should say. So a pretty solid match here. Now, there is a couple directions this could go. As they're kind of alluding to here on Bleacher Report, I kind of have I kind of have the layout of the show just in case there's any points I miss here on Bleacher Report. Or they could be alluding to Wesley stepping up into the NXT title division and taking on the NXT champion. Who will that be? We will find out. And now going after the NXT Championship, which I think would be cool. And Wesley definitely will have earned it. But at the same time, they could also have the rubber match between Wesley and Zachary Wentz, and potentially for the X Division Championship ? But so just a really, really fun match. And pretty emotional match as well. But next up was a segment of Miz TV. As we have Tony D'Angelo and the ruler Obafemi coming to coming to kind of have a face-off before their NXT North American title match next Tuesday. And Miz kind of having some heat because the night before he turned on R-Truth at the suggestion of the Final Testament. So, the awesome truth is no more. Well, it was fun while it lasted, but there's that, and Oba and Tony kind of having a bit of a promo battle before or their match for the next week. You got Tony D'Angelo bringing up how he grew up in Chicago, which is worth mentioning. We are in Chicago for the CW premiere, and that's gonna play into something later on. And Obafemi, he does at least acknowledge it's Tony D'Angelo as the tribal chief. I mean the Don, but he is still the ruler. No fighting this time around, which is kind of interesting, but kind of just to hype up their match for next week. Which I did get a bit confused because I thought the match was happening here on the CW premiere, but I guess you only had so much time. But nevertheless, next up, in tag team action, Jada Parker and Lola Vice team up against Fallon Henley and JC Jane of Toxic Attraction. I mean, Fatal Influence, of course, totally not the same thing. It's actually not. I'm kind of just making a joke, but nevertheless, Jada Parker and Lola Vice not really getting along. Earlier in the show, they're kind of at odds with each other. Kind of who's gonna take the lead, who's gonna do what. Kalani Jordan kind of trying to bridge them together, and kind of like convince them to work together, but neither of them having none of it. And will they work together in this match? We're gonna find out. And Kalani Jordan does join the commentary table. But this match was okay. Nothing too crazy. Jada Parker, who I believe does get hit by Lola Vice on accident, and then walks out on her tag team partner, allowing Lola Vice to be taken out, and cost the W, who losing to Fatal Influence. And Kalani said she had a feeling this would happen, so she called in some backup. It's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the women's tag team champions, and they kind of fight off Fatal Influence and kind of celebrate with Kalani there. So, how will things continue to evolve/devolve between Jada Parker and Lola Vice, and how will Fatal Influence play into it? And another story thread they're kind of doing is Kalani Jordan afraid of Fatal Influence? And that was something that she was asked on commentary by Booker T. Of course, Booker T is kind of like the heel commentator, or in a way, kinda, but she's saying she's not afraid of that, and admittedly, you may be like, Nigel, if she's not afraid, then why'd she call backup? It was a 3-on-1 disadvantage. What do you mean? But nevertheless, so I imagine, and all these feuds kind of coming together in a way. So Kalani Jordan will likely battle a member of Fatal Influence, likely JC Jane, who's kind of the leader in a way, but we will see. But next up, they do kind of have a promo talking with featuring Javon Evans and Randy Orton having their match. They're gonna have their match next week as NXT heads to St. Louis. So kind of talking about their match, which it's this match for starters. I thought this match was happening on the premiere, but nope. It's happening the next week. So I got a little confused there. But the other thing is kind of a random match, but also kind of cool at the same time. Random doesn't always equal bad, and in this case, it is kind of cool that Javon Evans is getting this opportunity against a legend like Randy Orton. And I think it goes to show not only the faith they have in Javon Evans to be able to work with a legend and a veteran like Randy Orton, but also the trust they have in Randy Orton to help develop this new star. So how will things unfold on NXT next week between Javon Evans and Randy Orton? We will find out. But nevertheless, next up in the main event, and NXT title is on the line, and as Trick Williams seeks to get back his NXT championship from All Ego Ethan Page. And the special guest referee is CM Punk, and thankfully he didn't have to put on a referee shirt and run down to the ring this time like he did at Clash of the Castle. But nevertheless, Has of course Trick Williams and Ethan Page been feuding for months now. They've been feuding pretty much since Ethan Page got to NXT. Course Trick Williams beat Ethan Page back at what's the exact event? And here I want to make sure I get the event name right, because as unfortunately I do tend to get some of the NXT event name wrong. So back at it wasn't Battleground. Yeah, it was Battleground. So back at Battleground, Trick Williams and Ethan Page faced off. Ethan Page was unsuccessful there. However, at Heatwave, Ethan Page won in the Fatal 4-Way against Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Sean Spears, and Trick Williams was the special guest referee. A lot of special guest referee matches is happening as of late, but Trick Williams was special guest referee when Ethan Page defended the NXT Championship against Joe Hendry at No Mercy, and Ethan Page came up victorious here. So it all comes down to this: who will walk out as NXT champion? And this match was pretty solid, I must say. Between this match and the NXT Women's Championship match, I think I might have to give it to the NXT Women's Championship match, but this match was pretty solid as well. Both men know each other relatively well, able to put on a pretty good match. Some jaw-jacking between Ethan Page and CM Punk throughout the match. Ethan kind of getting in CM Punk's face, but ultimately Trick Williams nailing the trick shot in order to pick up the win and over Ethan Page here. And afterwards, Ethan Page receiving a GTS for his trouble for CM Punk as Trick Williams was celebrating. Now, that moment did cause a bit of a stir. A lot of people were like, oh, CM Punk stealing Trick Williams' spotlight. Hey, I don't think that's the case, though, because the crowd did still erupt when Trick Williams got the win, and CM Punk also sends fans home even more happy by GTSing Ethan Page in Chicago, no less, and a really awesome way to end off the show. CM Punk didn't really take away from Trick Williams' moment. Trick Williams kind of already had his moment. He was already an NXT champion before, when he beat Ilya Dragunov and getting the championship back, although this one getting a celebration as well. Hell, if anything, it did kind of add to the moment. It didn't take away from it at all, I don't think. But also, it does kind of suck. I kind of get why they did it. With both championships on the line, and having this premiere on this new network in the CW, you theoretically probably want at least one of the championships to change hands. But at the same time, I do kind of wish Ethan Page's NXT title reign was a little bit longer. There was a little bit more mileage they probably could have gotten out of it. But nevertheless, Trick Williams, if what Bleacher Report is suggesting here, if Trick Williams is moving into this feud with Wesley, then they probably didn't want to do heel versus heel, because heel versus heel admittedly is kind of tricky to pull off. So I think having the regular face versus heel dynamic will work. And I am interested to see how that plays into it, because Wesley and Trick Williams have some kind of secondhand history through Wesley's feud with Carmelo Hayes, of course. But you do also kind of wish Ethan Page's title reign was a little bit longer, but it makes sense why they did it this way, and also kind of suggesting in Ethan Page versus CM Punk ? Which if they did feud there, I think that'd be cool. But at the same time, I do also want to see Ethan Page do other stuff. Do I think Ethan Page will win the NXT Championship later on again? And it's possible, but I think now also is the good time to end the feud between Trick Williams and Ethan Page. Trick gets his championship back, now transition him into this feud, would potentially with Wesley, and then have Ethan Page do other stuff. So pretty solid there. So, not a bad first episode for NXT's debut on the CW. As for the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest I definitely gotta go probably with the two NXT title matches, the NXT and the NXT Women's Championship matches. Having the NXT Women's open the show, having the NXT Championship close the show, I think is pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what happens with both divisions. And lest we forget them teasing Delta finally appearing in NXT, the kind of showing a vignette of her like walking down the road and everything. And so that's gonna be pretty cool as well. So the NXT Women's division is getting super stacked, and I want to see what they do with Trick Williams in the second reign as NXT champion. As for the week is probably the tag team match between Jada Parker and Lola Vice against Fatal Influence. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications. Every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. And let me know in the comments your thoughts on NXT's premiere on the CW. Are you excited to see what they do on the CW? But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.